Superintendent of Schools for Carroll County. Thank you for allowing me to appear before you again. Governor Hogan, good to see you. Board Rancho, good to see you again. Treasurer Kopp. I'm really here to thank you for the almost $3 million you gave us in support of our 3 roofing projects. We only have $447,000 missing from Plain Ridge. And the single-ply roof, we'd like to get the rest of the money to replace that roof. Our total request is about $3.4 million, and that's all I'm really here to do, although I would like to take the time to thank you personally, Governor Hogan, for the attempt to try to give us more state money through your budget. We really do appreciate that. We've lost, our state revenue has been down $11.5 million in 2009. State formulas, with wealth remaining relatively stable and our constantly decreasing student population. In fact, the student population has been decreasing since 2005. We have capacity for about 31,000 students. We're down to a little over 25,000 students. The next enrollment projections for the next 10 years show that distinct trend. So we believe we'll be bottoming out at about 22,000. So we're going through really difficult conversations.
Well, my understanding is that the Carroll County school system decided that they wanted to turn down our decision to give $4 million to keep the schools open and went in a different direction. My question is, why should Carroll County keep the money that we put in to keep schools open if you're going to close the schools anyway, and you're already getting a $2 million increase for K through 12 education? I mean, these additional funds we put in were to allow you more time for consideration for other options and a better long-term solution. It was rejected. So my concern is, why wouldn't we give that $4 million to Kent or Garrett or Baltimore City, who are all facing declining enrollments, or why not give it to Montgomery County, which is, struggling to meet rapidly increasing numbers of students and enrollment demand? And what is the money being used for? Well, it's not being used for what we sent it there for, what we agreed to give it to you for.
When you sent Mr. Mitchell to our joint meeting, that's not the message he brought to us. He said that the money was not contingent on keeping schools open.
I don't know how they delivered that message. I was pretty clear about it.
But the other result is that because it has to go through the legislative process, we have to make certain decisions before state deadlines, which contrast. The board did not make the decision.
That was a mistake.
But I will say that in my statement about closing schools, that if we can get the revenue we need to offset inflationary increases, and at this point the state has it down a little over $1.5 million with their preliminary estimates, which don't include the governor's money. At the end of the legislative session with the governor's funds, that gets through the legislative service and our local government gives us the money. I said publicly at the time that I would reconsider the decision to close schools. So I'm not sure what you're hearing. That's not what I said at the public meeting to close schools. I said with a combination of increased money from the state and increased money from the county, if we don't need to close schools, I wouldn't need to do it. I would reconsider my decision.
I have a question because I've been inundated with messages from families up in Carroll County, and obviously it's a very emotional situation, and it's not their fault. They didn't make the decision. Somebody made the decision in Carroll County to overbuild capacity. How did that happen?
Well, that's not a difficult question to answer. It's a very easy question to answer. At the time, one of our schools was over capacity. I personally presented enrollment projections to the community, the public officials at the time, to show them that the school wasn't needed. There was a great political outcry from the local citizens to our county government. Some current public officials led that discussion. It's all on tape. We have it online. And a political decision was made to build a school that was unnecessary. But also you have to remember from 1985 to 2005, we were gaining about 500 students a year. In 2005, it didn't level off. It just changed, and we started losing around on the average of about 400 students a year. And it continued to drop until this day. And again, based on the state funding formula, if you take out the Thornton funds and looking at real money coming in 2009, that's contingent on funding formulas, we lost $11.5 million from state revenue. So it was, so Mr. Comptroller, I agree with you. It was a political decision. It was a wrong decision at the time, and now I have 2 high schools 4 miles away from each other, each approaching 50% of capacity.
Okay, I could see that dilemma for you, but what I don't get is walking away from $4 million, when the only ask is, can we keep the schools open and reconsider and think about this?
Again,
$4 million is a lot of money.
I haven't walked away from it. I have to wait till the end of the legislative session to make sure it remains in the governor's budget, or remains, we've heard lots of opinions on the $4 million, whether we'll make it through the legislative session or not. There's a lot of consternation.
Well, I think that was primarily after the county basically said, we're not gonna change our position. The money's not gonna change our decision. So if I were the legislature, why would you wanna give you the money?
And I was straight up.
Won't make it through the legislative session, thanks to your decision.
I say as strongly as I can, Governor, that is not the statement that I made.
That's certainly the way it's been portrayed in the media.
The media was wrong. We have my statement online. I can send you the link to it. I made a very strong statement saying, we need the revenue that can pay for the inflationary increases and to give our employees an adequate competitive raise. I will reconsider any of those schools. That's what I said in public, and that's what I mean saying here today.
I'm not saying right now, just I will keep these schools open temporarily. Can't guarantee that they're gonna be open for years and years to come, but yeah, thank you for the $4 million. We're gonna use it can they use it for teacher raises or something? Keep the schools open, move forward.
I will say what I said then. If I get the revenue from the state and the local commissioners to support my need to pay the bills, certainly that can be the decision. But unfortunately, I don't have the timing of the announcement of closing schools and the receipt of any money from the legislative process don't jive together.
Yeah.
Boy.
At this point, I wouldn't count on money if I were you. Any other questions? Thank you.
Could I just ask, I don't know if you were here with the prior roof. Now, Carroll County seems to have consistent problems year after year with the roofs.
Yes, during the rapid growth that we experienced in those 20 years, we built 14 schools in that 20-year period, just to accommodate the overwhelming growth that we've got. The standard of that time was single-ply roofs. We found that they were not. That was the standard that the state designers would adhere to that standard. So we have all these single-ply roofs that were built at the same time, and they're all 20-year roofs. And even though we're extending beyond that 20-year period, for instance, the Piney Ridge roof was built in '91, they're all failing at about the same time. And so that's why we have this perennial roof.
But the maintenance inspection did draw your attention to those particular problems.
Yeah, we didn't need the maintenance inspection to do that. We have roofers up there, we're patching leaks, so they just need new roofing systems. We built up roof and we need multiple ply roofs. But we have a backlog of roofs, and the other piece is we can only bring to you what our county government has considered for funding.
So the roofs will continue to leak, and do you have a mold problem because of them?
No, not at this point.
How do you know if they haven't been
We do inspections on our roofs, and we do inspections. We're not aware of any mold problems as a result of water infiltrations.
Any other questions, Carroll County? I'm jumping ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Big Mary,